For all things outdoors, listen to the father of two, the Jesus-loving TV show hosting hairy, true-blood American redneck, Ben Cole.
And listen to the outdoor filming, chef cooking, chocolate milk drinking, John Weissmuller. And we are
Rooted Podcast.
Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. From Rooted Podcast here, we are diving into the mic again. This is going to be a fun episode. We're going to talk more about these new TWRA rules and regulations they're coming out with. And we have a couple of stories to talk about from the turkey woods in our great state of Tennessee. So, John, with that being said, let's dive on into those regulations. What did you read that you were telling me about on the new rules from the TWRA?
Yeah, so let's look into this a little bit. There's a couple things. One thing that I kind of wanted to point out here that I just thought was a little interesting. So as far as the deer hunters out there in Tennessee, so you are not allowed. I'll just read it straight from the website here, and hopefully the folks at home can see this if you're watching a video portion of this. So it says statewide WMA regulations were changed to now prohibit the placement of salt products, minerals, and other consumable products on WMAs. Okay, so to me, obviously that changes the game a little bit, right? To not even be able to put out salt or minerals, and from the way that I understand it, it's not, you're not allowed to do it at all. It's not like this is just a hunting season thing. It's during the summer, all of it. So I just thought that was a little interesting call to make. I mean, you know, in theory, right, the state is, putting in food plots and maybe putting out some things to help out the deer, especially during the summer, whether it's antler growth or it's, the does getting enough nutrition so they can, feed the fawns properly, all of those things. So I just thought that was a little different to not be able to put out salt and mineral, part of me, I could get it during hunting season, maybe on public land, but not even like in the summertime to just help out the herd. That kind of struck me as a bit odd.
Well, I'll say this, I don't know why they decided to do this, but I'm sure it has something to do with CWD or something. There's got to be some reason for it, and I would really like to know why, because like you're saying, that is very crucial to developing the fawns, developing the does, and then the bucks follow with that. It's a big circle, and that's what we're here to do, is be stewards of that, but also I see their side of it too. It's like, well, these deer are digging massive holes everywhere, and people could trip in them and break a leg or whatever. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of different things to look at here, and I don't know. I'm just playing the devil's advocate here, looking at both sides, because I'm sure there is a reason. Now, is it? I don't know what the reason is. Is it statistical? Is it? What is it? What is that reason for doing this? And, they do plant some food plots and stuff like that, but man, deer need more than just simply a food plot. They need a whole lot more than that. They need a whole lot more than just a food plot. A food plot only gets you so far. And they got to have the total.
Yeah, especially on growing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, man, they got to have the total package to reach their full potential. But at the same time, now that we know that we can't do that on the public ground, what we're going to have to do is go back to the old school ways of finding these critters, walking in the woods, looking for signs,
trails.
So the best way to do that is to go in after deer season, take your phone with the old HuntWise app, and walk through there, and every time you see a scrape, drop a pin, a rub, drop a pin, and learn those areas to where okay, there's deer coming in and out of here, and this is where they're seem to be rutting is in this particular area on this ridge. There's a ton of sign, and a lot of times those scrapes just so happen to be down the edges of roads. That's just kind of where they end up being. But I think you just have to go back to the old school way of finding deer, and then put your rear end in the seat of a stand and watch. That's the best way, is observation. The best way to learn what is there is by sitting in the woods watching what walks by.
Yeah, and especially during turkey season too, if you're over there and you're kind of walking around trying to get a bird to hammer off, whenever you're doing that, also be looking for the all the deer sign. What whether it's game trails, whether it's tracks, whether it's old rubs or scrapes or something like that, or just droppings, anything just to kind of help you out and kind of get you going on the right direction. It just the other thing to mention is, so you have the TWRA, but they're not making these rules. So there's a game commission that votes on it. The game commission takes advice from biologists from TWRA, and then these appointed officials vote on it, which is, a whole nother conversation of, do they deserve to be there? What do these people know about wildlife? I'm not going to sit here and act like I know all these people, but, it is a conversation that is stirring in this state among hunters. So that's something else to keep in mind. It's like, it may not even be what TWRA wants, but nonetheless, it's happening. And, the bottom line is we just have to adapt to it. And, the bottom line to it also is it's not like the deer are going to go away. Like, they're still there, right? So now we just got to find them and get them in different ways. And, we can do it. It's just definitely a change in this state. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a big change, but they've also made another big change. And that is, from what I understand, you're now allowed to hunt at night for bobcats and coyotes, but it's only a certain window of time. So what were you telling me about that?
Yeah, I'll just read it right here. So the commission also voted to create a night hunting season for coyotes and bobcats. Night hunting is on private land only and requires a hunting license and written landowner permission. The season opens the day after deer season, runs through the second Sunday in March, and then it'll reopen first Saturday in June through the second Sunday in August. So the hours are, 30 minutes after sunset to 30 minutes before sunrise. So just kind of the flip-flop opposite of normal hunting hours. So the limit for bobcats is 1 per night. The daytime limit of 1 bobcat is separate. So you have the night versus the daytime. Then there's no limit on coyotes. Hunting with dogs is not allowed, and it's only shotguns with no single projectile, so no slugs. You can use night vision and thermal imaging. Lights are also allowed, just not from or attached to a mechanized vehicle or cast from a public road. So you can use any sort of call, whether it's electronic or hand or mouth operated, anything like that. And then it says, additionally, the agency clarified that depredation of animals causing damage is allowed for protection of personal property only. So, though it is a great thing, I think, it is private land only, which is, I totally get. There's a whole slew of safety issues that would happen if it was on public. You'd have people shooting all sorts of stuff at night that can't see, don't care to look, So I'm thinking that's their ideology with the shotgun only is, this whole idea that you can't see behind the animal, which I kind of get what they're coming from. The other part of me is like, okay, if you are a gun owner, you should be the most responsible human ever while operating that firearm. Wherever you set up, I don't care if it's daytime or nighttime, you should know what's behind your target. So if you know it's a clean shot, like if I could sit there and deer hunt with a rifle, and then I sit there and coyote hunt and I can't use a rifle, that part kind of doesn't really make sense, but it kind of just seems like a covering their butt statement with the shotgun. But nonetheless,
yeah, I see what you're saying with that, and I agree with you. If you're gonna be out hunting private land, right, like this is talking about, you probably have a very good understanding of that land. You probably know where all the danger shots are. If you don't, get on your map and look. It's pretty easy to figure out the land and know where you're shooting, where you're not shooting, where you're supposed to shoot, and where you're not supposed to shoot. And the more time you spend on that land, the more you're going to be aware of, okay, I'm in this spot. I can't shoot to my 10 o'clock. That's just more situational awareness and knowing what is behind your target, even if you're just taking the time to look on the map and, before the hunt even starts, just go out and look. Just drive out. Know your property before you even go hunting and know your rifle. Like you said, man, if you're toting around a high-powered rifle, you've got to be responsible. You have to know what you're shooting
absolutely,
at and what's behind it. Because, that thing can go a long way, a really long way. And, you're like me, we are very cautious when it comes to even the placement of stands because we don't want anybody to get hurt for sure. But this ain't a game, man. I was telling somebody the other day that had never hunted before. I said, look, I held up the shotgun and said, look, this is death. There's no way to sugarcoat this. That's what it is. So what's behind your target. You know what your target is. You verify 100% that your target is what you are shooting at legally before you pull that trigger.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've seen all these accidents where a hunter shot another hunter. Well, why did that even happen? How does that happen?
Exactly.
If they're on the ground.
And, it just happened too, man. Like not that long ago, there was a big case. I forget. I don't know if that was here or not.
I don't know either, but, I just don't understand how that happens because I have a rule. Do not shoot until you have 100% verified what you are shooting at. Don't just shoot into the moving bushes. That's that's just irresponsible. It just is, man. And I'm sure I'll offend some people with that, and that's okay because it is irresponsible.
Yeah,
as a gun
absolutely.
owner, that's one of the things my dad taught me when I was a kid. He said, "Boy, you don't ever shoot at nothing until you know 110% what it is, and you make sure that whatever you're shooting at, there ain't something behind it that you don't need to hit." So
yeah, you need to know your target and everything. What's in between me and the target, and what's beyond the target.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to know that stuff, man.
And it's like they make fantastic optics now, right? So before you just throw your gun up and put your scope on something, pull out your binoculars. It's pretty hard to mistake a whitetail buck or doe for a human being. The coloration is just totally different. We're walking upright, and a deer walks on all fours, and those bucks, have huge antlers protruding from their heads that are typically a light color. So they stand out like a sore thumb in the woods, unless they're them chocolate horn deer, which, man, I love me a good chocolate horn deer. Those things are beautiful. But,
they're sick.
Oh, they are, man. But the thing of it is, you just have to be very, very aware of your surroundings and of your situation. That's just all it boils down to is gun safety. 100%. That's what it is firearm safety. And, I'm teaching my son that right now. We've got a little Red Ryder BB gun that we got him for his birthday. Yeah. And, man, he sits in my lap. I have a rule. I was like, look, man, you don't shoot unless daddy's out here with you, and you have to sit in my lap, and I have to help you hold that and I'm teaching him like, hey man, look, because yesterday we went out to shoot, and his mama and little sister was out in the yard. I said, we don't shoot until they are out of the way, clear, not even close. I said, are they behind the target? No. I said, but they're beside it, and that all it takes is one little ricochet, and then that's it. That's over. So I've already started instilling in him these, principles of being safe with a firearm, and man, that's where it starts. I think some people probably think I'm crazy because I've got him shooting a BB gun at 3 years old, but here's the thing. I have the next 3 years to teach him proper gun safety before we go out and shoot a high-powered rifle at a whitetail. I have 3 years to ingrain this in his brain. And then when we go out, and I'm not saying it's just the 3 years, it's going to happen a lot longer than that. And he will never have he's not going to have the code to my safe anytime in the near or long future. He's going to have to be
That's right.
a very responsible individual before I turn over that. And even then, I probably won't turn it over. Man, there's just too much that can go wrong. But, it's more so for his protection and other people's as well. And, man, that's the thing, though. If you start them young, because, dude, that little Red Ryder, it don't even put a hole in the paper. It just kind of bounces off. I tried to shoot it at the steel target the other day at like 30 foot. Didn't even make it. It's like, good night. That's crazy. But anyway.
But it's a good starter.
Yeah, man, it's a great starter. You got to get them out, get them doing it, and teaching them, trigger control and all that kind of stuff. There's a bunch of stuff that goes into this instead of just handing them a high-powered rifle and like, all right, see you later. Have a good time. There's a lot that goes into this, and that's the biggest point is just spending time learning before you just go do. You have to be efficient and able to discern what you're doing and make a good judgment call there. That's just all part of it.
Even if it is with a shotgun, if you're sitting there night coyote hunting in the state of Tennessee, it's the same rule applies. It doesn't have to be with just a rifle that's going to project longer. Like, I don't care if you're shooting a bow. Like, obviously, with a bow, it's not going to go god awful far if you punch it through an animal. But, it can go pretty darn far because if it passes through, for sure, obviously, because we have all seen you shoot, it passes through, and then it hits that ground and boing, and it just, goes off somewhere. It's like, it doesn't matter what you're shooting. The same foundation principles apply. You got to be safe. You got to know your target, know what's in front of you, know what's behind you, all those sorts of things.
Absolutely, man. Well, with our rant on gun safety there, let's dive into a turkey hunt. So tell me about poor little Jeffrey's recent turkey hunt over there. I know he's been having some luck not seeing the turkeys, and then fill us in on what happened on the most recent one.
Yeah, so if for those of you who don't know, I'll catch you up to speed just real fast. My wife's uncle Jeff, he's never been turkey hunting. He's never killed a bird. I took him out opening weekend. Long story short, all we saw was hens. We didn't see anything. Really didn't hear anything either. And then I take him out again. We hear a couple gobbles, see a bunch of hens. Nothing happens. And now here we are. I have been seeing birds, seeing one come in all the time. And on the same farm, we've already gotten 3 turkeys. So it's like, okay, the turkeys are back. They're gobbling good. I got one on camera. Let's go out. So we go out. We hear a couple gobbles. I think 2 or 3, maybe 4, whatever. And we're sitting in the blind. We see a hen for a while, and then out of nowhere, another hen. They just start popping out, just bloop, bloop, bloop. And I'm like, oh my goodness, look at all these birds in here, man. There was like 6 or 7 hens. And then here he come. All we saw was tail fan. and just picture perfect everything that you imagine. Sun's going through the fan. He's all blown up, big old turkey. You just see the fan come over the little crest of the hill, and there he is, all blown up in all of his glory, just doing his thing, showing off every reason that we love the wild turkey. So he's just doing his thing, man, and we're just sitting there enjoying it, loving it. And I'm like, all right, Jeff, you have plenty of time. Do not rush this shot. And 2 other things. Don't shoot him in full strut, and don't shoot a hen that's near him. Make sure that his head is clear of all the other stuff, because just like we talked about, it's not only what's behind your target, it's what's in front of it too. So I'm like, we got to make sure that we don't shoot a hen for multiple reasons. 1, it's illegal. 2, you just shot however many other birds that hen has if she's pregnant. And then I don't like to shoot my birds in strut for 2 reasons. 1 reason being you mess up all the feathers and things, which is whatever. But the biggest reason is the part that you're trying to shoot is covered up because he's all shrunken in. So if I can avoid it, I don't shoot the bird in strut. So it's what I'm instructing Jeff to do. We had talked about this before. It's in the moment. I'm just kind of refreshing his mind. I'm like, take your time, dude. Whenever you're ready, let it rip. And we're sitting there, and he's kind of adjusting. I'm kind of getting ready, and the bird saw something, and all the hens took off. But the gobbler stayed there. All right, cool. All the hens are gone. That's awesome. Don't have to worry about shooting any of them, right? And then now the turkey's out of full strut because the hens just flew off. And I'm like, all right, Jeff, perfect. Shoot him. And he gets on, and just like we've all been there, boom! Turkey flies off, clean miss. Didn't even hit a feather, dude. Terrible. Just, you talk about hurt. This poor guy has been out, watched 3 people get a bird, went out again, didn't see nothing, went out now, has finally seen it, heard it, got the show, and just a clean miss. There's, I don't care how good of a shot you are, and Jeffrey's a great shot, man, retired military, all this, that, blah, blah, right? God knows what he's doing. If you have never shot at a turkey head that's always moving, even if they're standing still, they're always kind of beat bopping. That's a tough shot, man. Especially if you've just never seen it, never been in that situation. Your heart's pumping, life's going crazy. Your mind's thinking, oh my God, it's finally happened. I've been waiting. Oh my God, boom. And it's over like that. So, whenever that moment comes, man, you just got to kind of get your emotions in check, focus, aim small, miss small, make that moment count. Another thing, I don't think Jeffrey really patterned his shotgun. So, he shot this gun for years and years, but, you always need to go pattern your shotgun, man. I don't care how long you've had it for. So, he learned that lesson, and nonetheless, he was in high spirits. Everything was awesome. We had a good time, whatever. And then we're like, well, let's go in a couple days. Well, that day comes. He says he'll meet me at my house at, like 4:45. Perfect. Not a problem, dude. Done this 100 times. I get up. It's 5:15. Uh-oh. That's not 4:45. Johnny boy done overslept. I must have done hit the snooze button and turned off all my alarms. And I called him up, and I was like, dude, I'm sorry, man. I was like, hey, man, it's still kind of early enough. We could probably slip on out there. And he's like, man, I'm already on the couch. It's no big deal, whatever. So everything's square. But so we have not been out since. We're hoping to go tomorrow, which by the time this comes out, we hopefully have already went and shot one. But anyway, so hopefully that poor little Jeffrey gets one. So my dad right now is actually in Disney World with my brother and niece and all that. And you may be asking why did I just tell you that? Well, my dad told Jeff that whenever he gets back from his trip, that if he hasn't killed that turkey by then, he's going to go in there and kill it for him. So Jeffrey's kind of in a hurry to get on that bird.
As long as your dad don't shoot the wise eye again.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole nother story to tell one day. But yeah, my dad did shoot the camera, and that camera still works, folks. Just FYI.
Still works. That just goes to show you the resilience of those cameras, man. They're tough. Absolutely tough. So, we just did a hunt over the weekend for some soldiers at the lodge there.
Nice. How was that?
It was awesome. Absolutely awesome. So it was me and Wes and Todd and then two dudes. I'm not going to name them. But we were out there with the SOX organization. They came through our buddy Scott Graves, and dude, it was awesome. So the first day they hunted up in Waverly, and birds were gobbling everywhere. They just couldn't make it happen. It happens like that. There's a lot of times that in the turkey woods, that is going to be the result, is they're going to gobble their heads off, and then they're just going to be quiet. Just kind of the way it goes. So I was down there disking, getting ready for soybeans and all that stuff, and Wes texted me and said, "Hey, is there any hunters at the lodge?" I was like, "Just me." I'm down there, just working. I mean, I'm just cutting the ground and getting ready to plant, and because we've already finished up the corn for the year. And man, he's like, "We're coming on down." I said, "Sweet. See you when you get here." I wasn't even planning on guiding, and then I thought, man, why ain't you even thinking of it? You better be there guiding. What you doing? So
yeah, exactly.
They got there. We sat around for a while, and then I run home and get my vest, take a shower. I'm disgusting. I'm covered from head to toe in dust. So I had to take a shower real quick, get all my turkey hunting gear, just so I could take these guys out. My camera, because I got to film and I got to take photos. That's just kind of my MO. Ran back down there. Well, it turns out we had a new episode coming out for Rooted Television, which is out now, by the way, on Carbon TV. If you got that app, go check us out. But we looked over that. Me and Ryan went through everything. Looked great. And then I decided to drive on back down to the lodge. So I ended up getting there at about 1:15, something like that. Laid my head down at 1:20ish, something like that. And then got back up again at 3:15. So I wasn't sure what time daylight was because I crashed in the cabin across the road, and there's no cell service over there, which is real nice. But man, I was like, well, I'm just going to set it for 3:15 because I'm not going to be the one that's late. I'm not going to be that guy. So I'm going to go ahead and be up and be ripping. I walk outside. Well, all the lights are still off in that other cabin. I thought, oh, shoot. I could have slept another hour, but I didn't. So I'm up now. I'm dressed, ripping on all cylinders. And Wes decides to go across the road, and me and the one guy decide to go back to the graveyard field area and see what we can't drum up back there. We get to walking, dead silence. Not a gobble on the limb. We walk all the way back to the last of the Mohicans, and nothing. Can't get nothing to respond. I mean, just dead silence. I'm thinking, what has happened to these turkeys? Last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was opening day, Hammer City, everywhere you turn, there's turkeys gobbling everywhere. And now, here we are, dead silence. And I thought, crap. So, knowing this farm as well as I do, because I spend majority of my time there, I decided that we needed to walk back towards the lodge, just see if we couldn't strike one up on the walk back. We get back into the graveyard field, and my buddy there thought he heard something. I didn't ever hear the gobble, but so there's a gap in between the graveyard field and the soybean field. We got into that gap, and I hear, pow! I was like, oh gosh, we got to sit down right now. And so I instructed him. I was like, let's sit down on this tree right here. You get your gun up. You get ready. You just be ready because this bird's coming because he is by himself. I saw him at this point. He's out in the middle of this soybean field on the high ridge there by himself, no hens, no nothing. I thought, game on, baby. We are in the money now. So I start calling at him a little bit, and he starts hammering. And then he kind of hung up there for a minute and just started strutting back and forth. And I thought, I'm going to hit him one more time and let him gobble. And then I'm going to shut up. And that's what I did. And dude, he triple gobbled after that because he was trying to find that hen. And I just sit there. And then he turned and gobbled away from us. And that's when I hit the call again. You know, I did the old cut there, and it fired him up. And I was sitting there thinking, man, I'm exposed right here. I have a camera on a tripod with a ghillie suit tucked around it. This is going to go fantastic. You know, just awesome. Yeah. So I'm sitting here thinking the whole time, man, this bird's going to bust me at any second. He's going to round that corner, and he's going to bust me. Never did. That dude came all the way across the field. Stop, strut, gobble, all the way across. The guy that I had, man, he got to experience the whole entire thing. And both of these guys, this was their first birds. So that's even more special because that's 4 birds on the ranch this year that we've guided people on for their very first turkeys, which is
it's awesome.
Special all in its own right, because not many times do you go out and they actually do what you want them to do with the gobbling, the strutting, the drumming, spitting, all that stuff. You know, sometimes they're just quiet. They don't gobble. You just got to deer hunt them. And you know me, I like to run and gun. I like to move constantly. I can't sit still or I fall asleep. And then I miss the turkey anyway because I was a snoozing. You know, I'm like, hey, when that sun hits you just right, boy, it's a snooze.
It's over.
Fest. Snooze fest, man. Especially when you're on one of the big old oak trees or a big pine tree. That just feels nice. But man, that bird keeps coming, and I thought, dang, he's a little far, but we might have to shoot him because he's in the road at this point, and he can see all the way in the graveyard field, and there ain't no hen there. It's just this big old leafy blob sitting up next to a tree. And so he turned and looked the other way, and I went, chop, 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 chop. Just real soft. And he turned back around. I was like, oh, we got him. And I just shut up from that point on. And he comes up and walks all the way down that road to about 30 yards. And I was like, kill him. Booyah! Done. And then the guy jumps up to go shoot him again. I was like, whoa, he's done. He's dead. You smashed him.
You got him, pal.
You're good. You're good. You don't have to go for the double shot, man. Don't waste that expensive ammo. He's done. I promise you, I watched the shot on the camera screen. He done. You made a perfect shot. I mean, dude, that guy shot him right where those wattles meet the feathers. I mean, just center punched him. I was like, yeah, baby. You know how I get, John. Even if I'm not the one shooting, I still get sideways about it. So here I am, getting all amped and everything. And oh man, it was awesome, absolutely awesome experience. And
love it.
And we got back to the lodge, and there was already a set of spurs there hanging out. And I was like, oh sweet, they killed too, fantastic, doubled up again. That is turkeys number 6, number 5 and 6 for the season at the Sinking Creek Ranch. And their story is pretty cool too, man. So they went across the road and there's a little food plot over there. And the way it sets up is there's 2 ridges on both sides of these food plots. And those birds like to fly down on the ridges and strut and do their thing. It's all hardwoods over there. So there's plenty of food for them on those hardwood ridges. So they walked into that food plot because that's what I told them to do. I was like, look, just go right there and let that be your start point and listen, because, I mean, I have cameras all over that farm. So I'm constantly checking cards, listening, in the places that I don't get cell service, which now, I think I've mentioned this before, but now I'm getting cell service from the Wise Eyes everywhere, John, even in the valley, which is unbelievable. Never had that happen before, and it has just been phenomenal. And so they started off there, had 9 turkeys gobbling. One of them has a beard on him that's probably about as wide as 2 Coke cans sitting next to each other. I mean, a true paintbrush of a turkey. And they had 4 of them come on up, and the guy smashed one of them. So what they did is they flew down and circled them on the ridge, and they saw the hen and the Jake decoy down there, and they're like, oh, this is real. There is a hen down there. And every one of them comes straight down the hill into that food plot. And
wow,
they laid the hammer down, and then went and tried to get Wes and Todd one, and they got close, but it didn't happen. So, but man, the thing of it was for this trip, it's taking these soldiers hunting. That's what it's all about, man. And one of them was the guy I was with. Was like, man, I can't thank you enough. I said, no, sir, I can't thank you enough.
Yeah,
because it's people like you that allow me to do what I love the most. It's you guys are the reason we get to do this. You guys are the reason we're free and we get to live this kind of lifestyle. I said, so I am thankful for you, because at the end of the day, man, if we weren't the greatest country in the world, man, getting to do whatever we wanted to do, the freedom is very, very special, and it's something that nobody should take for granted, because it would be a lot different if you were not free. Try to protest in a country where you're not free. Ain't happening.
Good luck.
Yeah. So anyway, man, it was just an awesome hunt. Both those guys were just pumped out of their minds, and keeps the batting average of Sinking Creek Ranch on turkeys at 100% for 2 years. So
that's awesome.
I know the day's coming. I know the day's coming where I'm gonna get bamboozled, but for right now, I'm gonna be pumped.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, just ride the highlights there, baby.
Hey, man, listen. The thing of it is I don't have to worry about the highs and lows of hunting, because I'm on a constant high from Jesus, constantly.
That's right.
On that, man. Yeah, I am very competitive, and sometimes, turkeys do get the best of me. They beat me, and then I get angry. Well,
yeah.
The reality of it is that's just human nature, and
yeah,
I just like being full of Jesus, man. That right there is why I hunt, is because I'm in His creation, and I get to watch it unfold every single morning. There's nothing greater than that. And then, with all these, like, you look at a turkey and you see how iridescent the feathers are, right? Or you look at us and see how we're so vastly different. You look at all the different duck species across the world. Every one of them are different, and they're all beautifully made. You can't tell me that there is not a God when you look around and see all this stuff. You can't tell. I'm not going to listen, because there's no denying that God is real when you stop long enough to look and you see all these different things, especially in the woods. Especially in the woods, man. I mean, even if you're not in the woods.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the dude next to you. Beautifully and wonderfully made, man. It's just what it is. Just what it is. I'm telling you right now, we did not come to where we are by 2 rocks banging together. It's like, oh, well, hey, we started life right then. Yeehaw. I'm never going to buy into that, but I do buy into the Bible, and I will take it for exactly what it says, because I'm not a theologian, man. I'm not a preacher. I'm not any of that stuff, man. I'm just no redneck that genuinely loves Jesus and is thankful for everything, man, because I don't deserve any of this. I don't deserve the brotherhood I've got with you. I don't deserve nothing. I don't deserve anything, man. I'm a sinner. That's just all there is to it. But I am beyond thankful for everything He's blessed us with. I mean, buddy, He has blessed us with a lot, and
that's the truth.
At the end of the day, man, we just got to keep on keeping on and give Him the glory everywhere we go, and the highs, lows, and all of it, because sometimes things happen to bring you back to Him when you're slipping off the sidewalk. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. Oh, yeah, I've been there, pal, and
Buddy,
so has he.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Hey, look, man, I've slipped off more sidewalks than I can care to count, and still, man, I'm still tripping on my shoestrings all the time. And he's there every time to catch me before I hit the ground. Every time, he's got his arms wrapped around me before I hit the ground. Every single time, it always works out. Every time it works out. Yeah, man. So anyway, well, that is what the hunt was, and man, it turned out great, and it was a great time, and looking forward to getting back in the woods and punching that last tag of mine, and ready for you to kill another turkey and for us to get together and do some goofing off and having a ball.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah, hopefully, right there, the last couple weeks of the season, we can get together and maybe even film a little bit, do a couple things. As far as the Rooted television side as well as the Rooted podcast side, we've ladies and gentlemen, we've got some things cooking in the old noggins here. We got some ideas brewing. We got some things coming up. So it's just a matter of getting together and making those plans come to fruition, which will happen. It's all going to happen. So I would just stay tuned for that. And I also got to say, for those of you watching the video version, Ben and I did not plan to wear the same shirt. Pretty much, his is the television, mine's the podcast one. That was not planned at all. But I will say, if you want any of these shirts or sweatpants or a jacket or a hat, we have a shop, rootedtelevision.com. Hit the shop link, takes you right to it. You just buy whatever you want, put in all your info, and there you go. Then you can look like us, which is probably not a good sales pitch, but here we are.
Yeah, I don't know that looking like a big, hairy, thick guy that's a little, chubby is exactly what you're looking for in life. But hey, if you want to support our brand, we appreciate it. We appreciate everybody. Absolutely. And one thing that keeps us going is that, and there is a link in the description. If you want to support this channel, feel free to do so. We greatly, greatly appreciate you. And with that, the Redneck is out.
See y'all.
For all things Rooted Podcast and Rooted Television, and I mean hats, shirts, hoodies, and other merch, check out our friends at CH Lone Star Pro and the link that is in our description.